everyone, welcome back. So today we're gonna get practical. We're moving beyond the paperwork and heading straight out to the job site. We're gonna tackle a super important topic, how to really master occupational safety and health, or OSH, during the execution phase of a contract. You know, this is where all the plans become reality and where the real risks pop up. All right, let's jump right in. So here's our roadmap for today. We're gonna start with the basics, why on-site safety during a contract is so crucial. Then we'll get into the real hands-on skills, like conducting site inspections and running a full OSHA audit. After that, we'll talk about how to write a report that actually makes a difference, and we'll wrap it all up with the key takeaways you can start using right away. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1. So picture this. The contract is signed. The plans are all approved. Everyone's ready to get to work. This is that moment. This is when all that careful safety planning you did on paper gets put to the ultimate test in the real world. And that's really the heart of what we're talking about today. This whole explainer isn't about how to write a safety manual, it's about the practical, on-the-ground skills you need to manage OSH effectively while the drills are running and the hammers are swinging. It's all about dealing with the chaos and unpredictability of a live project site. Okay, moving on to our first core skill, the site inspection. I want you to think of this as being your eyes on the ground. It's your frontline defense for proactive safety. It's not just about checking off boxes on a list. It's your chance to see what's really going on and to catch those little issues before they snowball into big incidents. So how do you do an inspection right? Well, it's a four-step process. First, you prepare. You don't just show up cold. You review the plans and you know what you're looking for. Step 2 is to observe, and that means walking the site with a system, not just wandering aimlessly. Step 3, and this is crucial, is to document everything, the good, the bad, all of it. And finally, you communicate. If you see something dangerous, you report it immediately. Everything else gets compiled for the bigger picture. Okay, so we've got inspections down. Let's level up to our next skill, the OSH audit. Now, hold on, because a lot of people use inspection and audit like they're the same thing. They're not, at all. And understanding the difference between them is absolutely key if you want a safety program that actually works. And this slide lays out that difference perfectly. An inspection is like a snapshot. You're on site and you're asking, is that piece of equipment safe right now? An audit, on the other hand, is like watching the whole movie. It asks the bigger questions like, do we have a system to make sure all our equipment is always safe? Is our training effective? Is our system working? So here's the bottom line. Inspections find hazards, but audits find the broken systems that create those hazards. As you can see, the audit process is way more in-depth. You start by defining your scope. What exactly are we looking at here? Then you gather evidence, and that's not just from walking around. That's digging into documents, training records, and actually interviewing people. After that, you analyze what you found against the safety standards. And finally, you wrap it all up in a formal report with your conclusions. It's a real deep dive. Which brings us perfectly to our final core skill, the one that ties it all together, producing a great OSH report. Because let's be real, all those amazing observations from your inspections and those deep insights from your audits, they're pretty much useless if they just stay in your notebook. You've got to document and communicate them effectively. I absolutely love this point. It completely reframes why we do reporting. It's not about creating a paper trail just to cover your bases. It's about creating a tool, a roadmap for getting better. A good report is the engine that turns what you found out there into real, actual changes that make the workplace safer for everyone. And an effective report always has these essential parts. You start with an executive summary, the short version for busy people. Then you explain your scope and methodology so everyone knows what you looked at and how. The meat of it is in the key findings, what's going right and what's going wrong. But don't just stop there. A great report digs deeper with a root cause analysis to figure out why things are happening. Then you give clear corrective action recommendations, and finally, you have a follow-up plan to make sure it all gets done. That's how you close the loop. So we have covered a ton of ground here, right? From quick on-the-spot inspections to those big deep dive audits. Let's boil it all down into a simple toolkit, something you can take away and put into practice tomorrow. And here is your whole OSH execution toolkit in 3 points. First, master the on-site inspection. That's your daily tool for catching immediate risks. Second, use the systematic audit to do a periodic health check on your entire safety program. And third, use clear, actionable reports to make sure things are always getting better. If you can master these 3 things, you're not just reacting to problems, you're getting ahead of them. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. Take a hard look at your own projects and ask yourself,
Is our safety process something that's alive out there every single day? Is it a daily practice? Or is it just a bunch of paperwork sitting in a binder on a shelf somewhere? Because honestly, the answer to that question makes all the difference in the world. Thanks so much for tuning in.